Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's pray and thanks to our God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us mercies and blessing, so we can ascend in this situation and good situation. Secondly, may peace and salutation always be given to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness to the brightness, from the stupidity to the cleverness. Well, I'm Nurhikmah. I'm class B 2018, and in this situation I would like to present my proposal in detail, improving vocabulary through watching English movies in the first grade students of senior high school to Pasangkayu. So let's start. The first is chapter 1, introduction. Background. There are 4 skills in English, namely speaking, listening, writing, and reading. The 4 skills equally require vocabulary to master them. MC Shorty 1990 states that no matter how well the students learn grammar, no matter how successfully the students of L2 are mastered, without words to express a wide range of meaning, communication in L2 just cannot happen in any meaningful way. Thus, the goal of vocabulary teaching shown in this citation is being able to communicate. So, in this case, vocabulary is the most important thing in English. To improve vocabulary, researchers ask students to watch English movies to improve their vocabulary. Watching English movies are some of the habits of teenagers, so it will make it easier for students to get vocabulary. Based on the result of the interview of researcher at the English teacher of senior high school to Pasangkayu, the researcher concluded that the first grade students of senior high school to Pasangkayu lack vocabulary mastery, even though students must have sufficient vocabulary to be able to master skills in English. Next, problem identification. From the background above, this research problem can be formulated as follows. To what extent the method of watching English movies can improve the vocabulary of first grade students of senior high school to Pasangkayu. Next is problem limitation and formulation. Vocabulary is the most important part of the English language. Therefore, the researcher in this case will only examine how they improve the vocabulary of first grade students of senior high school to Pasangkayu. Next is research objective. The objective of this research is to find out how effective the watching English movies can help students in improving vocabulary of first grade students of senior high school to Pasangkayu. Next is research benefits. Benefits from this research. The first is for students. It is very helpful to increase their vocabulary so that it's easy to master the 4 skills in English. And the second is for teachers, is to help easily communicate with students. Next is chapter 2, literature review. Previous related studies. Kiki Siti Nurjana 2013 in her research entitled Improving Students' Mastery in Vocabulary Through Movie Learning Media at the 4th grade of Elementary School 1 Gumulung Lebak Greget Cirebon. And the second is from Siti Fatima 2019 in her research the effectiveness of using movie app as the teaching media to improve students' vocabulary. And the last is Noviana Rosada Patmi 2017, correlation study between vocabulary mastery and cognitive style towards speaking ability at the 11th grade students of Man1 Sragen in the academic year of 2016 and 2017. Next is theoretical framework. First, the definition of vocabulary. vocabulary plays necessary role in learning a language so that it can help language learners to be able to understand and use language. It means vocabulary is written or spoken unit of language, a symbol of idea in foreign language introduced to learners. If a teacher teaches new words in foreign language, it means the teacher teaches vocabulary. Next is aspect of vocabulary. According to UART 1996, page 60 to 62, there are some aspects of vocabulary that should be mastered by students as follows. First is pronunciation and spelling. The students have to know what a word sounds like, its pronunciation, and what it looks like, its spelling. And the second is grammar. The grammatical rules should be understood by students when they learn a set of new words. And the last is meaning. The meaning of word is primarily what is referred to in the real world. Its denotation, a less obvious component of the meaning of an item, it is connotation, the association or positive or negative feeling it evokes, which may not be indicated in a dictionary definition. Next is steps of vocabulary. H 1995, page 373 to 390 states that there are 5 essential steps in vocabulary learning. The first, encountering new words. The first essential step vocabulary learning is encountering new words from various sources. And the second is getting the word from. The importance of getting the word from appears when students are asked to give definition for words. And the third is getting the word meaning. The specificity of the meaning that students need seems to vary. The level of distinction that must be made in word definition seems commit vary both with the requirement of the task or situation and also with the level of students. And the fourth is consolidating word form and meaning in memory. Interesting vocabulary learning can strengthen the form-meaning connection. There are 4 strategies. The first is creating mental linkage. Second, applying image and sound. Third, reviewing well. And the fourth is implying actions. And the last is using the word. The final steps in learning words is using the words. Use provides a mild guarantee that words and meanings will not fade from memory once they are embedded. The researcher gave the students solution as follows: make the meaning of the word and translating the word. Next is difficulties in vocabulary mastery. Mastery vocabulary is very important for foreign language learner. Without mastering it, of course, the learners will get some difficulties in English. According to Longman Dictionary 2009, page 279, difficulty is a problem, something that causes trouble. Difficulty is defined as something that is not easy to do or hard to do and understanding. Students' difficulties are conditions in which the students face the problem. It will be seen from students' mistake and error in learning process. Next is Chapter 3, Research Method. Research Type and Design. In this research, the researcher used quasi-experimental, using comparison or control group to investigate research questions without random assignment. The researcher divided the class into 2 groups which aimed to know whether English video songs are effective to improve students' vocabulary mastery. Next is research schedule and location. The researcher will conduct this research at the first grade Senior High School 2 Pasangkayu. The researcher will conduct on 2021, which adapts the schedule of the English lesson at the first grade Senior High School 2 Pasangkayu. Next is population and sample. According to Sugiono 2016, page 117, population is generalization area that consists of object or subject that have certain qualities and characteristics determined by researchers studied and then drawn conclusions. So, the population can be interpreted as a whole object or research subject that has certain characteristics to be analyzed and concluded the results. The population are all of the first grade of senior high school to Pasangkayu. And according to Sugiono 2016, page 118, the sample is part of the number and characteristic of the population. The sample of this research is class 9 as an experimental group. The participants are 35 students. There are 11 males and 24 females. This class is chosen as the subject. The researcher choose and focus only of using the media watching movie to improve their vocabulary mastery. Next is operational definition of variables. The variables of the research is the effectiveness of watching movies as the independent variable and the student's vocabulary mastery as the dependent variable. Next is research procedure. In this research, the attendance of the research as data collector. The researcher attends to observe watching English movie to improve the student's vocabulary with giving pre-test and post-test. And also the researcher do observation. The teacher when the teacher gives treatment in the experimental class. And next is research instrument. The researcher used observation field notes, pre-test and post-test as the research instrument to collect the data. The test is used in order to know the different achievement between the experimental groups and control groups after the treatment. Before the test is given to the students, the researcher has already measured the validity and reliability of the test. The secondary data is gotten from observation during teaching learning process. Barbara states that the purpose of observation is to note the activity of the information needed by the researcher to answer the research question. It is conducted to strengthen the data which are gotten from the test. And next is and the last, data analysis technique. Test is used by the researcher in collecting the data. The data from the test is going to find out the result of students' vocabulary mastery by using media watching movie which is applied in the experimental groups. Then without media listening, watching movie in the control groups. It is obtained from group 1 as an experimental class and group 2 as a control class of senior high school 2 Pasangkayu. So, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for your nice attention. And I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and thank you.